Take me somewhere to warmer weather, to something better than here right now. 'Cause the days get longer, the nights grow colder, a lonely shoulder when you're not around.
This is Mulligans, where life gets messy, love gets complicated, and second chances just might save the day. Let's begin.
Chapter 11. A week had passed since the barbecue, and Chase had still not spoken with Jared. He'd left several messages. The first had started out with apologies and an invite to get together again. On the next, he went for the buddy approach and made, in retrospect, some pretty lame jokes. He paced inside the guest cottage holding his cell phone, staring at it, willing it to ring. His hurt had moved to disappointment for the summer he had hoped to experience with Jared. And now that disappointment was quickly transitioning into anger. Why had he apologized in the first place? He had nothing to be sorry for. He was just being himself, being true. Jared was the one who had betrayed him and left him for dead on the roadside, metaphorically speaking, of course. Chase paced more quickly around the room, balling one hand repeatedly into a fist as the other dialed Jared's number. Not surprisingly, it went to his voicemail. Jared, it's Chase. You know what? You're a coward. I'm not going to feel bad about what happened anymore. And by the way, I'm taking back my apology. I'm not sorry. You should be apologizing to me. This isn't about being gay or straight or whatever the hell you want to call yourself. This is about being a man, and being a man means protecting the people that you love. And you obviously aren't capable of that, so it's not like I'd want to be with you anyway. Not that you were in love with me, because you definitely... This is stupid. Have a good summer. I won't be calling again. Chase hung up and sat on his bed. He didn't feel any better. He thought maybe the call would get out his anger so he could move on. Unfortunately, he still felt dumped, and it sucked. He lay back on the bed and crossed his arms behind his head, looking at the ceiling. Tyler had been spending more and more time with Bree lately, which meant their time together had been relegated to working hours at the golf course and sleeping, but that didn't count. Most nights he was sneaking out to be with Bree anyway. Chase had become quite accustomed to hugging a pillow and gaining solace in its feathery embrace. It all seemed to circle back to the question of what was he doing here? He'd come to make some cash working on the golf course and to hang out with his best friend. He was banking some cash that would surely come in useful during the new school year, but beyond that, he couldn't say he was having fun anymore. It had all just gotten a little messy since his coming out. And the strangest element was the fact that he was feeling closer to Tyler's father lately than to Tyler. They had an easy camaraderie. Nathan made Chase laugh, and he felt good when they were together. It was surprisingly easy, actually, and comforting. Like Nathan was filling a part of Chase he hadn't known was empty. He wanted to feel again, like the bonfire night in the woods or in the back of the truck under the stars with Jared. Chase sat up on his bed with a new resolve. He wasn't going to walk around like a zombie, wishing to live, wishing to feel, wishing and waiting to be embraced by life. He was going to start embracing it and start following his instincts. A tingle ran down his arms. It was scary and exciting. He'd become a master at burying his instincts, and now the opportunity to let them bubble to the surface and follow their lead brought with it a powerful sensation. He was going to have an amazing summer, ripe with life and passion. Jared wasn't going to stop that. He had just pushed out of his cocoon, and he certainly had no intent of being pressured back into its confines. The world was wide and held infinite possibilities. He intended to experience them. Chase stood and decided the grief with Jared was over. He was moving on, and the best way was to wash the self-wallowing right off. Chase stripped off his clothes and hopped in the shower, placing his face right under the faucet and enjoying the forehead massage as the water danced over his skin. Admittedly, Nathan's open concept design was a little strange when it came to the glass shower in the corner of the room, but it was also very freeing. He had nothing to hide, not anymore. Those days were over. Just then, he heard the cottage door open, and he instinctively turned off the shower and grabbed a towel. Maybe he wasn't totally ready to be free, or at least naked with whoever had walked in. I forgot to tell you, my grandma invited us all over for the weekend, Tyler called out as he shut the door and crossed to the closet, pulling shirts from hangers and stuffing them into a duffel bag. Had my fill of social gatherings after the barbecue. I'll just stick around here, Chase decided as he briskly toweled himself and wrapped it around his waist. So, what? You're suddenly scared to be naked in front of a heterosexual? Tyler asked, turning with one eyebrow cocked quizzically. Whatever, dude, I'm not scared, Chase said, tightening the towel. Why are you being so prissy with that towel then? Why are you watching how I dry myself? Chase shot back. Well, usually you parade around jingling your jangles all over the place. It's hard not to get an eyeful. Tyler turned and grabbed a pair of cargo shorts from the shelf. Is it different now? Between us? Chase asked, already sensing the answer he didn't want answered. No, I'm just saying, well, just thinking of all the times before when... So it is different. Kinda, Tyler said, looking at Chase, realizing too that the friendship had shifted. Chase watched his friend as he turned away and went back to gathering things for his weekend trip. It wasn't supposed to change. It wasn't supposed to be any different. He took a deep breath and pulled the towel from around his waist, shaking his hips. Sorry to interrupt your programming. The show's back on schedule. Tyler glanced over and then pulled his hand over his eyes. I didn't say I wanted the show back on. I still have the reruns playing in my head. No, you want it? You got it, Pally. I don't want it. I want it to stop. I was just pointing out the difference, Tyler laughed. I like the difference. You're getting a parade, Chase threatened, running at Tyler and flicking the towel at him. Rain or shine. I don't want the parade, Tyler said, this time seriously, and zipped up his duffel bag. You're free to jangle all over the place for the weekend. I'm out of here. Tyler tossed his duffel bag in his mom's Land Rover and headed into the house to tell his dad they were headed out. He planned on extending his usual ask to see if he would be joining them at his grandmother's for the weekend and was expecting his father's usual answer. Nathan never attended functions at his mother-in-law's house. The woman seemed to stretch his patience over the period of a dinner, let alone a whole weekend. Tyler found his dad sitting at the dining room table, coffee in hand and reading the newspaper. Sure you don't want to come? Positive, Nathan said without looking up from the headlines. I'm happy as a clam right here. Tyler pulled something from the back pocket of his jeans and tossed it on the table in front of Nathan. Look what I found in the guest cottage, a super old photo of you. Nathan picked up the photo and grimaced. It's not super old. Kind of looks like me. Nathan examined the photo of him in his old football uniform more closely. It looks a lot like you. I still feel that young, you know. You feel the same on the inside. It's just the package that changes. Yeah, well, yours changed a lot. You used to be a stud, Dad, Tyler joked, punching his dad in the arm as a farewell gesture. Watch out, it'll happen to you, Nathan called after him, his eyes still on the photo. Chase is going to be here too, Tyler said, poking his head back in the dining room as his mother and Bertie rolled their suitcases down the hall. Tyler, would you take these to the car, please? Stacy said, handing her bag over. Make sure Chase gets something to eat once in a while, okay, Nathan? Don't leave him stranded out there. Make sure he feels comfortable enough to come in the house to get whatever he wants. Yeah, right, of course, Nathan assured her and stood to give them hugs as they were out the door. Less than 5 minutes had passed on the drive when Bertie interrupted the silence. What does gay mean? Stacy turned around from the front passenger seat to lower her sunglasses in her daughter's direction. Who told you that word? Tyler wrapped his fingers against the steering wheel. It's not a bad word, Mom. I never said it was. I asked where she heard it, Stacy defended. Brian said he thinks Tyler and Chase are gay, Bertie stated matter-of-factly. Tyler's drumming on the steering wheel grew to an agitated staccato beat. What does Brian know? He's like 8. I'm 8, Bertie replied as if this information validated both herself and her informant as forces to be reckoned with. I know, Bertie, Tyler conceded, realizing that his sister was indeed wise beyond her years. Look, gay isn't a bad thing. So what is it? She obviously wasn't going to give up, and so Tyler began to formulate the best explanation he could muster. Bertie, sometimes a guy will fall in love with another guy, or a girl will fall in love with a girl. That means they're gay. Okay. The reply seemed satisfied, succinct. Maybe, just maybe, this would be the end of her questioning, Tyler wished both for himself and for his mother, who was now massaging her temples. No such luck. I love Jenna, my tennis coach. Am I gay? Bertie asked suddenly from the back seat in all sincerity. Tyler and his mother turned to answer Bertie simultaneously from the front seat, although their answers only proved to confuse her further. No, Stacy said curtly. You might be, Tyler suggested cautiously. Stacy glared at her son. But you probably aren't. It has to do with love and other stuff, Bertie. Tyler began his explanation again. Like sex? Stacy went back to massaging her temples, defeated. Oh, Lord. It's okay, Mom. I know. Jeffrey told me all about it, Bertie assured her mother. Of course he did. Bertie stared out the window for a few blessed moments of silence, moments when Tyler again willed his sister's curiosity to be quelled. It wasn't. But how did two boys do that? She asked, the gears in her mind spinning audibly. Stacy pulled off her sunglasses and turned to fully face her daughter to emphasize the importance of her new game plan. Remember our rule to not talk about golf? I'm changing that. We can all talk about golf, especially this weekend with your grandmother. And after the weekend, Bertie, we're going to learn how to play. Tyler just smirked to himself as he pulled the Land Rover onto the highway. Yeah, Mom, there's nothing straighter than a couple of lady golfers. Grandma was already pouring the early afternoon wine when they arrived and gathered around a table drenched in linen. The little tea party was missing tea, but benefited from sitting in the shade of a massive weeping willow whose sloth-like branches hung clear down to the lawn. Bertie unfolded one of the crisp serviettes from the table and laid it ladylike on her lap. Grandma, I saw Jeffrey's penis. Grandma continued to pour and turned to verify with Stacy in all sincerity. No wine for her, right? She's 8, Mother, Stacy responded, taking a healthy gulp of her own, sure she'd need a little buzz to get through the afternoon. Grandma lifted her head in the air defensively toward Stacy, as if her hospitality were under attack. I was just checking. She turned to Bertie and passed a tray of sugar cookies to the girl with a smile. They're weird looking, aren't they, Bertie? It looks squishy, Bertie recalled, taking 2 cookies from the tray. Sometimes they are. Mom, please. Stacy shot her mother a look of caution. Well, she's bound to find out one day. There's nothing wrong with a little education. More wine, dear? Grandma asked, already uncorking the second bottle. Yes, please. Tyler? Grandma asked, already filling a glass for her grandson. Tyler doesn't drink wine, Stacy said, pulling the glass from her lips. Of course he doesn't, Grandma assured her as she handed the nearly overflowing crystal to Tyler. So, where is Nathan? He had to stay back. He had some, Stacy lied, knowing full well she was incapable of doing a convincing job of it to her mother. Work. Of course. Grandma finally took her seat, emitting an exasperated breath as if this concern had been plaguing her all day. I don't know why he's scared of me. It's not like I'd say anything we don't already know. Mom, Stacy cautioned, shooting a glance at Tyler and Bertie. Grandma rolled the stem of her crystal between her thumb and fingers gingerly. Well, not to his face. That might upset him.
And that's a wrap on this chapter of Mulligans. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did, and that it got you thinking about the complex relationships we all navigate, the ones that challenge us, change us, and ultimately shape who we become. If this chapter spoke to you, or if you're reflecting on the big questions of love, family, or second chances, I'd love to hear from you. Drop a comment below or hit me up on social. Whether you're pondering Tyler's journey, Chase's emerging sexuality, Nathan's dilemma, or Stacy's challenges, or just want to share your own thoughts, I'm here for it all. Don't forget, if you're craving more, you can grab your very own copy of Mulligans. The paperback, ebook, and audiobook are available with links in the show notes. And if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button so you won't miss the next chapter. Trust me, things are about to get even more interesting, and I can't wait to share it with you. Until next time, remember, second chances are just around the corner, and love can always find a way, no matter how messy it gets. keep dreaming big and loving boldly. Thanks for listening, and I'll catch you in the next chapter of Mulligans.
Take me somewhere to warmer weather, to something better than here right now. 'Cause the days get longer, the nights grow colder, and lonely shoulder when you're not around. Tell me, do you want me right now? I don't wanna wait to find out. I need you to love me lights out tonight. Will you love me till the sun goes down? Will you love me till the stars burn out? And tell me, do you see a future filled with me? 'Cause I do. I see you, I see you, you, you. 14 hours and 14 days, yeah, it feels the same when I'm not with you.